I'm the fireman. Yeah, fireman. I got that fire, I'm hollering. I got that fire, come and try me, and you can spark it up. And I'm gonna put you out. You can spark it up, and I'm gonna put you out. This is what they were saying when they were talking about my pyromancer build. And here we are. I love this build so much. I love backstabbing people and then casting Burn O Flame, or backstabbing people and then casting Burn O Flame. No, wait, not that. The other one. Fire's Deadly Sin. Yeah, that one. Either one. They're both great. Big fan of that. I also like casting O Flame and trying to, trying to true combo it into an Ash of War. That's also a lot of fun. And it'll true combo into most Ashes of War, which is great. Love that. And then, of course, Giant's Flame Take Thee is just absolutely hilarious. It's so funny. It's one of those spells that works better, when you learn how to free aim it. And when you manage to land a Giant's Flame Take Thee, when you manage to land one of those, like fully charged with the Godfrey icon and the spell boosting talismans and all that stuff, it's just hilarious. It's so much damage, and it's one of those. It kind of is the vigor check, right? Because a lot of people won't survive that, and so anytime that happens, a feeling of pure glee just washes over me. This is the level 80 version of that build, the Pyro build. I have another version at level 140. I am probably, as you're watching this video, I am probably finished with, or in the process of, taking this build into New Game Plus to get a second Giant's Seal, so that I can cast Pyromancies and make them do even more damage, just because I think that would be funny. Fire's Deadly Sin is a fantastic spell, and now that there was a glitch associated with this spell, and so if you saw somebody cast this spell, you could almost certainly be assured that they were using that glitch to try and instantly death blight you or bleed you out or whatever. That glitch has been fixed, and it took a while. It took a while for me to finally start using the spell, because I didn't want people to think I was trying to use that glitch. And I had seen it so much, I assumed others had seen it, that anytime you see that spell, it was basically just like, oh, here comes some guy trying to glitch kill me, right? But it's been long enough now that I think most players probably don't anticipate that that's what you're trying to do. But yeah, I love this build so much. And I wouldn't mind having even a third version of this build. I've got one at 80, and then I've got one at like 138 or 140, basically in that neighborhood. 138, 139, something like that. I wouldn't mind having another version of this build, just to see if I could get like an absurd amount of faith and an absurd amount of dex. To see how fast you can get these spells to pop off. I could probably respec my 140 version of the build to have that max cast speed. I could probably just try that. I guess what I could do, though, kind of unrelated, but it would be nice to have another version of my Madness build at that level. Because I really like that Madness build, and right now the only version of that build I have is at 80. So that's something that I could do. That could be fun. I have the harp bow on this build, as you can see. As you might be saying to yourself, you know, why? And the answer is, this was the build I found it on. And I happened to have the stats for it, and so I was like, okay. And so I just started using it. Nothing deeper than that. No, deep reasoning behind it. Sometimes I'll be using stuff, and people watching me stream will ask, why this instead of that? And a lot of times the answer is like, I just found it, or I'm lazy, and I don't feel like going and getting the other thing. You know? There really is no method to a lot of this madness. I'll tell you this right now, though. There's some method to this guy. What level is this dude, you know? I've hit this dude with, like, big stuff, and he just doesn't take a lot of damage. Now, a lot of that is because of the fire prelates. I'm sure that the fire defense on that is wild. But, you know, the host takes regular damage. But you have to remember that as you level up, you gain defense. Like, it's just a byproduct of leveling up. That's how the game balances itself in PvE. You know, you're leveling up, you're getting defense, enemies are hitting harder, you're gaining defense for leveling up. So when you fight like a password summoned phantom, the game is not actually like changing their stats. It's not lowering their stats. It's lowering their damage and things like that. It's lowering the it's not lowering like the root number. It's lowering the numbers that are affected by that root number. So this dude's defense is still like off the damn charts, man. And he's got a ton of HP. And I was dragging him over here to the ball, hopefully. But he let his host get killed instead. So we'll never know. It's a mystery forever. What level was that guy? What level was he? That's another the dual fire swords, you know, the magma worm curved swords. I don't blame people for having that item dropped for them, you know, because it's so rare. It's so rare, it's so hard to get. I don't blame people for having that dropped for them. But when you see someone who has had that dropped for them, the idea of like, oh, these are just honest co-opers, like that goes out the window, you know? They are obviously somebody who knows how to get online and ask for a weapon. And it's one of those things that if you see that, like, you have to expect that your opponent is running like some fully optimized build. And that guy was. They typically aren't. I don't see a lot where they aren't. You know, some people run dual curve swords, and, you know, bandit curve swords, or grossmesser, falchion, or shamshir, whatever. A lot of those are easier to get a hold of, and if somebody's like mix and matched curve swords for their dual wield curve sword build, you know, like that's an instantly recognizable, like, different type of player than somebody who has two shamshirs or, you know, two of anything really. You know, it's easier to believe someone would farm two grossmessers or two bandit curve swords. It's easier to believe someone would get that than it is, you know, dual shamshirs or whatever. Man, I love Catch Flame. Flame has terrible tracking. Like, it's awful. But you know, it's there. Like, if you unlock, the spell can hit. I've been trying to work on that because it's a big part of landing those combos, you know. O-Flame into Sword Dance, O-Flame into Double Slash, or O-Flame into, you know, whatever. And as I was making this video, it occurred to me, like, oh, Saint, you totally have a higher level max cast speed Pyromancer. And he's just a Black Flame Pyromancer. But I was like, oh yeah, right. I really like this build. There's a glitch currently. It's not a glitch, it's just a coding error. with the Godslayer Greatsword, which is a weapon that this build uses a lot. The Ash of War is meant to have hyper armor, and after the last patch, they kind of messed it up. And so this it's like they moved a decimal in the wrong direction, basically, or they forgot to fill in a number field. They forgot to like put numbers in the value place, and so this weapon has no hyper armor on its Ash of War, which is something that, you know, like obviously they'll fix as long as they're made aware of it, which I'm sure they are. Yeah, so don't try and trade with this Ash of War right now, because it will not go well for you. This thing has 0 hyper armor on the Ash of War. The regular attacks have hyper armor. You know, you're fine there. It's just that Ash of War, which is a shame because it's a cool Ash of War. But I really like this build. I really like these spells. Noble's Presence, I love that. You know, no one uses that spell. The Black Fireball is much better than I think people give it credit for. And my personal thing is like, I personally believe that like the Malekith Blade of Death and the Black Blade and all that stuff, I personally believe that all of that stuff, look at the dodge, come on now, I personally believe that all that stuff is all related to like old Black Flame stuff that doesn't exist anymore. That old deity that got by Malekith. Read the lore, you'll see what I'm talking about. So I have that on this build too. Man, I love this build. Fire rules. We'll see you guys next time. Later, y'all.